Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to this quick meeting. I'm just gonna quickly follow up on a couple of things here.
Hey
Obviously,
guys, how's it going?
obviously this trade was a pretty freaking nice winning trade. Absolutely casual, no issues with it. All the way from the expected entry down to the expected take profit, very smooth, very casual, something that you do on a daily basis. But right now, reason why I wanted to have this meeting, aside of just bragging of how good I am and how great of a trader I am, I want to touch base on a couple of details here because right now things are going to be unfolding quite a bit interestingly. I'm pretty sure it's not something that most people have expected on gold. Previously, we had some pretty strong discussions of how gold is likely going to be bullish for the long term. Now, I can tell you honestly, things are more shifting towards the other side, at least for a bit. So I won't be going into too many details with this trade of how it was taken. That's not really the point here. But right now, something I do want to draw your attention to is really just like giving you guys a reminder and giving you guys a new perspective of the market that just stop being blinded only to the upside on gold right now because we had a lot of changes on the fundamentals and most importantly, not only on the fundamentals, but also on the technical side, it is going to be shifting to the downside for the next upcoming weeks, very likely. I'm actually reading in the chat. I mean, I'm reading in the chat that someone got stopped out because of the stop of the spread. Well, man, if this trade stop you out of the spread, you're just using a bad broker. Like you guys can perfectly understand that brokers are most of the time 90% of the brokers are B-book. So anybody saying that he got a stop loss on a trade that was so clean and so perfect, it was nothing else because your broker has been specifically manipulating your trade. The Telegram group I'm running, that's having like over close to 60,000 people in it. Like, do you not think that brokers are not in that group? They are not looking at what's happening? Guess what? Yeah, of course they are looking at it. Thousands of people are taking the same trade together. So why wouldn't brokers be manipulating you with it? So, that's also another thing. I can speak of this all day, but that's really the other thing when it comes to trading. It is just unbelievably important to trade with something that is fully a book that's not based on manipulating your trades, manipulating the spreads, and not just trying to profit off from your losses. So, but we can speak of this later. I mean, I can touch base on the brokerages later too, which one to use, which one I'm using specifically. So we can get to that later. But yeah, definitely. I mean, that's really my honest opinion. I mean, if you got stopped out on this trade, that's only your broker 100% because they are manipulating you, be-booking you. And I can genuinely tell you the way it is working is if you go ahead and place a trade, the price of the spread, the current pricing is all in the control of that B-book provider. Like especially if you're speaking of a market maker. Like many people do not know this, but I do have a lot of insight to this because of course the time I've been spending in the market and of course I do know how the entire industry is working in general. I do know it works exactly how you imagine it. The broker goes there, they press a button and they take you out exactly to the tick. No wonder why that's the case. Anyway, but moving forward, aside of the broker topic, like I mentioned, I can speak of this all day, saying that how 90% of the brokers are B-book and they are trying to make you lose. It's something we all know. What you're gonna know right now, And I'm gonna go to the higher time frame in just a bit. But right now, in our previous meetings and in the meeting that I have been doing at the market open, so obviously we had the meeting where we had this market open here, and we of course expected the price to be moving higher. That has been changing a lot there because of course at this moment we were absolutely right about it that the market should have been moving higher and we were to be expecting bullish prices there. But of course at that time that was the relevant idea of the market. Right now, as things have been changing, a different idea is going to be relevant. So just because something has been expected in the past, it doesn't mean as the market is evolving forward, we might not change our narrative. So that's of course what's happening right now. I personally had a long-term bullish perspective on it based on all of the conflicts that has been happening. And most probably all of you guys should have been having a bullish perspective on gold based on all of the information that has been released recently. Like we had the Israel attacking Iran, Iran retaliating to Israel. After that, the United States has been bombing nuclear facilities in Iran. So obviously, we had a bunch of reasons to be thinking gold is moving higher. But guess what? That's a thing of the past. It's no longer relevant anymore. Why is it no longer relevant? Because right now, what's gonna be most important and what's gonna be rather our new perspective is this specific day here when actually, just so you know, this was the day and this was exactly the time when I have posted on my Instagram story. There are a lot of things are confirming that gold is potentially moving lower. That was the time things have been shifting because if you analyze the market and if you take a look at what the news event has been publishing here and what the current relevant event been, that was the time when they have been putting up the ceasefire agreement. And that, of course, is leading to the end of this recent conflict. It was something that happened pretty quickly. Maybe it was like a week long, approximately like a week long conflict. But after that, it's gone. Like once it's gone, it's gone. That's of course how these events are happening. Like take a look at how any of these events are happening in the market. Just take a look at how we had, let's say, COVID lockdowns at one time, and the next day it's a completely different event of Ukraine and Russia having a conflict. That's how fast things are moving. Because if you think of it at that time, back at the time of COVID, you guys perfectly remember how fast that also has been changing the narrative. Like simply the news has been this one day, the next day it's a completely different thing. That's really how fast things are changing here. Just as you guys started hearing of this recent conflict right now with Iran and Israel, this has been going on. Now it's done. Okay, fine, it's done. No longer relevant. We gotta take a look at what's the new important thing. If something's a thing of the past and something is getting the actual news event is getting exhausted, or I mean the publishment of the news event is like no longer in the global narrative of the global world actually pushing that narrative, because you guys of course do know that most of the major news events are indeed publicly pushed in the global narrative. If that is no longer in the global narrative, I'm no longer looking at it. So that also goes completely into my trading plan because I just won't be stuck on some ID that I had when it was important. If it's no longer there, it's done. We move forward. So that's really what I want to touch base on here. Like I mentioned, things are changing here. The narrative of gold is getting bearish. You guys can exactly see that right there. See? So it's complete bear market. Absolutely. Also, we can take a look at different time frames. See how everything just completely channeling through the bearish side. And if I'm just showing you how this recent move was also here. Guess what? This is just a pullback, large impulse move. And guess what? This is just a pullback to let investors sell more in the market. So for now, I'm sort of dropping the buying ideas for now. Like, of course, I'm not gonna be blind to it. If it's if it's obviously going to be tomorrow a complete news event, a different news event, I'm gonna of course change that ID, right? I have no issue changing it. But for now, I'm just gonna let you know there's not a single sign in the market that will be fully confirming a buying trade. So I would recommend you guys to be completely dropping those buying IDs. And it's much better worth it to take a look at those selling trades because also in terms of the recent market movement, just by taking a look at the nature of the price action itself, this here, it seems to be relatively equal lows. We all perfectly know relatively equal lows are indeed going to be further sign of the market pushing lower. But of course, we're gonna wait how the market gonna be evolving tomorrow. Like today is done, tomorrow I'm gonna make a different decision. So yeah, that's gonna be my over higher time frame perspective on it. And let me also just pull up something else here for a second. I'm gonna pull up something else. I'm gonna show you something here in just a second. I just gotta pull it up. See this? See this here? One of the guys that's manipulating the market the most is also one of the guys who's giving you the most profits as long as you consider it. So guess what? It's right there. It also said it. Why are you looking for the why are you looking for the buying trade? All right, so that's that bigger picture. Also, another thing right now, just another quick comment before, I would wrap up the meeting or anything. So just another quick comment on this here. This here, moving lower, of course, it reached sort of the expected target. But I just want to also highlight another thing is if you guys are potentially interested in taking another potential trade. So let's say you're interested in taking a trade here like that. To be completely fair with you, I would not really recommend it. And the reason why I would not really recommend taking another selling trade directly, because if you take a look at how the current price is moving, let's take a look at this here. This was Wednesday. This is Thursday. If this is Wednesday, and I'm also gonna put this here so you guys got the better perspective. If this is Wednesday low, and that just got taken, and guess what? We are just rejecting it here. Right over here, we are rejecting it. Isn't that a sign of the market completing the selling trade that it had to complete? I mean, of course, the buying trade isn't yet confirmed, right? So I'm not yet confirming the buying trade, at least for now. But all I'm saying is I would not be interested in going into another selling trade if I would have been missing it out. Because right now, what this is telling me is rather to stay away from a new potential selling trade because this day is this day. This is the day when a certain market movement is completed. Maybe potentially today, this was the lowest point the market had to be creating. So to me, it's already suspicious that this massive rejection is right there. So just as a final note, and what I'm trying to say with this, without repeating the same thing over and over again, without getting anywhere, all I'm saying here is I would refrain from selling another time today. Maybe tomorrow I can take another selling trade, but for today, I would refrain from it. That's what I can say regarding my next advice to you of how to move forward, because I do know that now that I have been sending this signal, and guys, I'm gonna be dropping a couple more trades like this for free. Sometimes I do this. Reason why I do this because I think it really proves that you can trade or you cannot trade, especially when you're taking a trade in front of over 60,000 traders transparently. Like you cannot fake this. There's no way of faking this. It's happening live. You gotta perform live. So this here, I'm pretty sure a lot of people that might have been missing the trade. So that's really my advice to you right now. Rather wait for tomorrow. Today is already like done. There's no further reason to get back into the market and start losing the profits we have already made today. Yeah, so I'm reading in the comments that if I'm gonna send the selling trade tomorrow, if we're gonna have a setup, like yeah, of course, yeah, why not? It could happen. If there's something nice in the market, I could potentially share it. No issues with that. Yeah, definitely. Like, if you can trade and if you know how to trade, like it doesn't cause an issue to publicly say that, hey, this is gonna be happening. Like it shouldn't be causing an issue. So yeah, to me it's no issue. Like trading is easy for me. It's as long as the setup is there, I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna let you know. All right, guys. I hope this meeting was helpful. Gonna wrap it up here. Um, because I think that's appropriate. Also, just for information, I'm gonna be actually opening one-on-one interviews on July 15th. Just letting you know. No reason to further like market it. Of course, if you know, you know. It's gonna open July 15th. So yeah, that's a wrap up for today. Yeah, excellent trade, excellent signal. So guys, I appreciate that you guys tuned in, and